Anything about this is fake. Our
Matt,
friendships.
Do you know what else is fake?
Yeah, the legendary. I hate you so much.
The New England's podcast. All right. I had a great weekend. This is the best fucking weekend. I was fucking loving it.
I'm not ready to move past the dog shit we just participated in.
Well, guess what? It's not in the recording, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
why was your week so good, man? Why don't you tell me about it?
I don't know, something was just, it felt so right all weekend. Like Friday came around, my sleep schedule's been out of whack, but I just felt like,
that's
no,
really
this is
generous.
good. This is
schedule's out of whack. It's so generous.
You like my 4 a.m. memes?
No. What? Go to bed.
Yeah. I just woken up.
Where?
More like it's 6 p.m. That's besides the point. It just, everything felt like it was gonna work out. It was gonna be a great time. I should have had the faith earlier in the week, but because that really would have helped my picks out. Just saying.
Yeah.
Haymant, on the other hand, let's just I'll pop up the
Haymant's
picture.
going haywire. I'll tell you that much right now. Haymant is going haywire.
There's no saving it. I'm at the bottom of the table.
So bad this split with his picks. It's
because he's going bonkers. What's going to be crazy is if he keeps doing it and eventually wins.
It's not possible. He had a 27% percentage for week 1 and week 3. I don't have the percentage for week
for this one
for week 2.
Oh, for week 2, yeah.
But he only got 1, 2, 3, 4,
That's why I'm
5,
saying it would be
6 out of
absolutely
15.
bonkers if he came back and won it all in the club.
It'll be crazy, but big doubt.
Crazy, and I would retire.
Oh my god.
It would have to be some nut shit.
You would have to go. We would have to brick unbelievably hard, and you would have to go absolutely next level.
I'd have to be wrong about CLG winning.
Or every single team in the LCS would have to be like, "Hey, we're doing coin flips again."
Because Haymont, I'll grant you your coin flips. Anyway, that's insane that you're bricking this hard. It's so funny.
It hurts a little bit.
Get over it. It doesn't really matter.
Get over it and on to our first topic. Hey.
Let Anthony finish his sentence, maybe.
No, I was going to segue us to the next topic, which is that Dignitas has swapped out Dardoch after Friday's game. So this is now their
I forget which one was on Friday.
Who did they play Friday? They played Golden Guardians and lost.
Okay.
So
was it Dardoch's fault? I wasn't paying that close attention to that game.
I'm not sure.
He went 4-4 and 8.
I mean, that's not.
It's hard to say it was Dardoch's fault per se,
but he didn't know.
I don't like. They just. I don't fuck it. They had a gold lead. Really small gold lead up to 30 minutes, and they probably threw. Yeah, they threw it Baron.
That is
lost
the
and then
jungler's
lost
fault.
Baron.
Baron throws jungle territory, jungle fault.
It's just it doesn't seem like this team has any cohesion. They've now swapped out their mid laner and their jungler. And it looked like they got even worse after swapping out their mid laner.
What could go wrong with that? What could go wrong with never having a stable roster practice together for more than a week? I don't know what's gonna go bad there, man.
Don't fucking.
That could never be a problem.
No, it's fine.
Bring the full 10-man roster. Let's
Get
go.
over it. Yeah, bring 10 people in one league game. See if you can win them.
Look, they brought in Acadian, which I would have been more sold on this swap if they swapped Acadian for Dardoch. Like instead of swapping Yasui and Soligo.
Yeah, that was right. Soligo was mid.
But like, it's just swapping both of them. Really, both of them?
It's very sus.
I just I don't do. Can you This tells me they can't identify what is wrong with their team. If they've now swapped their mid laner and their jungler out, instead of looking at Fake God, who looks like one of the worst top laners in the league, Neo, who looks like he can play Callista and that's it, I'm not gonna say Aphromoo is bad, but Aphromoo
more
hasn't
power
been.
to the Callista players. That champion is fucking scuffed.
Aphromoo hasn't really been popping off that hard. And it's just like they can't close games. It seems like their problem is macro more than anything.
I guess it was kind of maybe like, okay, Acadian, Yusui, they've played together. We still have Aphromoo who can be the primary shot caller, the one who comes up with ideas and just kind of like the catalyst for everything. I don't know. I'm not being super harsh on Neo. I think Neo's good. Like, I don't think he's stellar, but I don't think he's bad.
It's hard to hard carry LCS games, man.
It is.
Crap, I closed the wiki.
I don't know who they have on the academy, if it's like Lorlo for Dig.
Dig? For top lane?
For their academy roster, yeah.
Yeah, what's their options? What are they cooking with?
It is Lorlo.
It is Lorlo.
Or Dragoon, who I don't know if... Yeah, it looks like he's 18. He was born in 2002. Jesus, fuck.
You feel old now?
I feel old, man.
You know what made me feel bad?
What?
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
It's completely unrelated to this.
So, yeah, their option is Lorlo or Dragoon. And Dragoon's on their third team.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Are either of those guys going to come in and like make a clutch difference?
In theory, Lorlo should be able to.
Should be able to, but I didn't ask. I mean, yes, he has performed. That's fair.
Yeah. It's a 50-50.
Stop with your coin. You're just praying for coin flips, buddy.
You're
praying for your only saving grace that's left.
Yeah.
I don't know. I you know what the other thing is?
Not until you tell me.
I feel like if they... because they've done this, where they've benched Dardoch in the middle of a week, they've basically nuked that relationship. Because Dardoch doesn't come back from this ever. This has never happened, where Dardoch comes back and it's better.
Hey, people can change.
Good one. I feel like if you bench Dardoch, you have decided you are no longer playing with Dardoch. You can't put him back in, because if you put him back in, he's gonna have to be like, no, I'm in charge, very much so. Nobody else can ever tell me what to do, because without me, you performed even worse.
I mean,
I think he goes on like, yeah, it feels like he goes on like a full tilt train where he's like, oh, wow, hey, I have to show up to this like every week now, every weekend. All right, whatever. Let's go. Let's play. And get done with our weekend. That's more so kind of what happens.
I don't think it's that he tilts off for an entire weekend or anything. I think it's that he's not that pleasant to work with. And allegedly from multiple people, a lot of them publicly. And it just seems like an absolute disaster if you ever resort to benching him like this. Like, it doesn't seem to ever go well.
They probably know that, but
I'm just saying, I think in future this team does not put Dardoch back in. You just stick with the Canadian on your main roster and sort of deal with it. And you maybe swap the mid laners back and forth or something. But I think this team's just boomed. I don't think there's any upward momentum to be gained here.
You think it's Brick City?
I think they're headed for last place. And and that's with like a 6-game lead on Golden Guardians.
That's...
Okay, they have an 8-game lead on Golden Guardians. I think they'll probably finish last place.
That one is being recorded in the book of hot takes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the hottest take we've ever had, but it's a spiced one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so ridiculous how awful this team has fallen off a cliff. Who have they beaten so far?
Themselves.
They beat FlyQuest, Immortals, and another win, didn't they? EG. That was not what I would exactly call compelling victories. And
as in the team quality they beat, or like they were barely getting dubs?
The team quality they beat, and even like how they did it. They didn't. I don't recall them looking dominant in any of those games, really. In a way that I think would matter for their progress. And it just seems like we're 3 weeks in, I think they're worse than they started, and I didn't think they started that high.
Rough times.
All right. Let's move on to talk about the new hotness of CLG playing Vi Jungle.
You love to see it if you're me.
So CLG,
a pick never before seen in the LCS, really
CLG
revolutionizing.
Worked real hard to get their 3-0 victory this weekend, and they resorted to Vi on stage. Never practiced it. Not like never once in scrims. I don't even know.
Is that true?
Yes. I don't know if you played it in solo queue, but they're just like, let's grip it and rip it. Let's pick Vi.
Listen, she's not the hardest character.
I'm not saying she's hard. I'm just saying, like, who the fuck rips out Vi on stage? And
this team, bro. You just said.
Yeah, these Chad Lords. They almost perfect gamed their first game this weekend against 100 Thieves. They almost did it. I think, they didn't drop a single neutral. They didn't. Did they not die? They didn't die, and they only dropped 2 turrets.
Jesus Christ.
That's how close this is to a perfect game.
Is Vi meta now? Like, what happened?
I don't know.
Vi can press R.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? Fair enough. Good gameplay. Interactive. They're just missing the one button Udyr gameplay, so they're trying to find another one button legend. That's true. That's 2 buttons. My L.
It's I don't know. I looked at the draft from 100 Thieves and CLG, and I was like, oh, this is absolutely 100 Thieves victory. And then I don't know what happened.
Oh, you're just wrong. So here's the main problem with the 100 Thieves comp is it has Varus in it. Varus has nothing to deal with this CLG team. Absolutely nothing. It doesn't matter how hard he picks that or pokes them down. Kalista has too much mobility. Rakan has too much mobility. Galio doesn't give a shit. Vi just kills him, and Set doesn't care either.
Was that the game that they were running Galio?
In 100 Thieves? They ran it twice. They ran a trio of Vi, Galio, Rakan against EG and 100 Thieves. And then they ran Lee Sin, Lissandra, Nautilus against Dignitas.
Okay. All right, never mind. I like the composition better. Only because you can literally have... you just basically have Bash Bros. Well, there's Vi in there. So...
Well, I like to call these comps I Choose You comps. And like a Pokemon reference, yes. Where you select an enemy champion and you decide, we're going to kill you. It's going to happen. You will die. And then we'll see what happens next. So every time you walk into a team fight and you either select a prio target or an easy target that you can kill safely, so that even though you have blown Galio, Vi, or Set or Rakan ult, and you're now really low on your ultimates, it doesn't matter because it's still 4v5. All of their ultimates have lost their engage, or they lost their vision control because of who you picked off, or they lose their damage because you remove one key piece from the enemy team and then you play around that removed aspect. So it's such a... I don't think it's a bad comp or a bad way to play the game, and I in fact think for teams that are struggling, if you take an easy comp and learn to play it with multiple champions, you can get a lot of wins with that. And this might...
Define easy comp.
Vi, Galio, Rakan, Set, Kalista. The press R and kill you comp. So if you can just play to that playstyle, find as many champions to do that playstyle as possible, especially when it's like this, where you're just picking a target and killing the target and hoping for the best afterwards, because you're ahead at that point. That's a great way to just get some easy wins out. It might be counterable, but we saw some teams try to counter it with some stuff, and they just couldn't keep up because they have so many choices. When all 5-year players or 4 out of your 5-year players have an option to just fuck someone over, it's a lot. You can't dodge all of it. If you like, okay, we dodged the Vi ultimate, but now the Galio's on top of it. But now the Kled's coming in. But now the Rakan's coming. It's like I can't stop all these things. That's their second comp.
Oh, okay.
There's too many options in these comps, and you can't cover them all. And that's honestly why I really love these comps. These are fun comps to run too.
It has such a long time that you can just keep on fighting, just solely on the R's.
Well, they're not supposed to be long duration fights.
Oh, they could probably like, especially with a Galio and stuff. Like, there's an area that you can probably just dominate as long as it doesn't fall too far behind in like the early game. It doesn't look like it'll do bad in the mid late game. Like, if that would be the only worry, because it's not like a super high damage comp. It's just, oh, we're gonna pick like 1 or 2 people over there, and they're gonna get screwed over, and anyone else who joins is gonna get dragged into the mix.
Well, yeah.
For like a good 15 seconds.
I don't know what you mean by a long team fight with these comps, because these comps are meant to just press R and then wipe everyone out and disengage afterwards because the enemy team is too scared to fight you after they've lost 1 or 2 members. Because that's what you're doing. You're using your most powerful ability to eliminate a couple of targets, and then you're just relying on raw hits. Like, that's why Kalista works really good, because Kalista ult isn't that great of an ability because you have to remove a player off the field for 3 or 4 seconds. And Galio ult is on such a long cooldown that the rest of his kit is beefed up a lot to make up for it. I think Vi ult actually drops down to a pretty low cooldown late game.
I think so.
And then you got Settle, which just, it scales with the enemy tank. So, like, they played against Lee Sin both games with the same trio.
What's the cooldown on Settle?
It varies, but because of the opportunity cost, it doesn't matter. If it gets down below 90 seconds, you can basically always have it up. So yeah, so if you can just chuck the Lee Sin back into the enemy team when he goes for an insec, it's like, oh my god, you can't engage. The enemy team has nothing. You just dodge the Rumble ultimate in the 100 Thieves games. You just take the Xin Zhao or the Lee Sin in the EG game and shove them back into their team. The amount of times that Xin Zhao would press R and then just drop dead because he's alone. He's out by himself. It doesn't matter that he's knocked everyone away because they can all just re-gap close. So I love it. I love their new take on the meta, and I want them to keep going. And I love that after they banned out Galio in the Dignitas game, they just said, all right, we're still going to go single target. We're going to lock in Lee Sin, Lissandra, and Nautilus instead. It just, I love it. I love what they're doing, and I want them to keep doing this really easy Iron team comp. They figured out how to win in the LCS. You play like it's Iron.
Start easy. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad one.
Though, I will say, these aren't the strongest teams that they've had to beat this weekend. They did beat 100 Thieves, which I would consider a pretty strong team, but 100 Thieves is looking a little unsteady right now. And it's gonna, I think next week they play Cloud9 and Team Liquid. And I think that'll definitely be a real test for them to see if they can make these comps work against much better teams.
Yeah, because Team Liquid, even if they're still a bit shaky on like how they want to do their team fighting, they will skill check you.
Yeah, just in the one-on-one lanes. Okay, let's move on to talk about our next topic. Now, Matt, would you like to inform me about what happened this weekend?
Bricks. 03, baby, bricked it out.
So, I got a little story for you. I was gonna throw a party this week. So I went to go to the liquor store to buy some booze for the party, you know?
Okay, well, you don't drink, so this is already wrong.
You're right. You're right. Other people do. Other people enjoy it. Now I get there.
You would never spend your money on other people.
The place is empty. There are no booze in sight. I go up to the clerk and I say, "What happened?" And he tells me a bunch of people in blue and white shirts came in and cleaned them all out. And all they said,
such a reach for it's not even
all
funny,
they said to him was no sneaky, no worlds. Does it hurt?
So hard for that, and it wasn't that good.
Does it hurt, Matt?
No, I don't care.
You don't care?
No, you can't be on top every year.
Yeah, but you go to Worlds
or every split, but it's still early in the season. We're not locked.
They got an MSI.
And also, like, we're literally just not locked. Like, is it unfortunate? Yeah, for sure. But, like, you know.
All right, hang on. But
I don't want to get to an advanced topic yet, but there's some hope left.
So here's where Cloud9 sits if we just look at their summer record. They're tied.
Just CLG.
Huh?
It's CLG's old record.
No. They're tied with CLG for 5th place if you take only their summer record.
You know, well, you can't because they won those games, but yeah.
What?
Don't take away their summer record. It's weird.
I'm not taking. I'm
their spring record.
Spring. Sorry, you said summer.
I did say summer.
He did.
Because I'm talking about the summer split.
What happened to
No,
fall?
you said if you take away their summer games, they have the same record as CLG, which is not true.
I think I meant to say only their summer games.
Yeah, it's fine.
So yeah, so they're tied for 5th place right now, and they're not looking better. They're looking a bit worse. So my question is, how do they fix this? Now, Sven is coming back. But how does like taking that into consideration, how do they fix this team and bring them back around? Their upcoming matches are Golden Guardians, 100 Thieves, and CLG. So you're a coach for Cloud9. What are you gonna try to do to get this team to win these 3 games?
Try to get them to play better.
Damn.
I don't know. Like, what do you want me to say? I'm not a coach. I don't know.
All right. So I'm gonna say the thing I've been saying for the past like 4 months about this team, and that is that their entire game plan relies around Blabber and Fudge working something out while their bot lane plays like weak side. I don't think they have any other win con. I don't think any other strategy will work for them unless someone just ints Perks 4 kills before 8 minutes and Perks gets to go around the map killing everybody. I just don't.
It's been known to happen. People have inted in the LCS before, and they will do it again.
I just do not see this team getting better. I don't see it working out for them, really. I feel a very similar feeling to I see with Dignitas. Now, they're making a change that I think is positive in comparison to Dignitas. But this is, putting in Sven would be the only way I think they get better. And if Sven doesn't work and they don't immediately look better next week, I think they're screwed. I think they'll probably still be in playoffs. They'll probably still make top 6, given that they have a 5-game lead on 7th place. But I don't know how far down they're going to go. My hopes for them making top 2 are very slim now. They're 2 games out of first behind TSM. That gap will probably keep growing. I think 100 Thieves looks more sturdy than them. I just don't see a good part of Cloud9 in the current meta, at least.
Yeah, I still have a bit of hope for the team. It's not as if it's all like doom and gloom and if everything's gonna fall apart. Sven's coming back in. I'm like 50-50 on whether King actually gonna keep saying 50-50 for a while. But I didn't think King was bad. He had his a couple good games on him where he was like, oh hey, he really showed up. And Sven coming in just means you're gonna have a bit more stable of a bot lane. And they can probably do some of the traditional Sven picks. Like, I think him and Vulcan on Senatom Kench was crazy. And you could always depend on that to work out.
Yeah, but nobody ever gets Senatom Kench, really. And they're nerfing Senatom Kench. Actually, I don't know. That it's going to take another 2 weeks for the nerf Senatom Kench because that's on this patch where they nerf Sunder. Which is the patch coming out tomorrow night.
Okay.
I just... Yeah.
They got to kind of take it one game at a time. The Wonder Thieves games, it's most likely that Wonder Thieves is going to win that game. I'm not going to lie. But the CLG game, there's probably a ton of things that they can do in draft to figure out a way to beat down CLG. They're normally very good at creating new drafts. CLG came out with a couple interesting ones over the past weekend. We talked about them prior, but I think that C9 probably has the ability to like figure out a draft that they can beat them with. And
I think C9's draft has been a big problem with their team too. Like their draft against TSM was really bad. Like they ended up playing Syndra into Victor, and it's just like there's nothing on their team that seems all that strong. Like the only strong part about this team is Ezreal, and TSM is running a Kog'Maw Lulu comp with 2 brawlers and a Victor on top. Like you just pop Victor's gravity shield on top of Kog'Maw and nobody can fucking touch him.
I don't particularly dislike their comp. You can see the idea that they were going for, where you can have these super long range like pokes from Ezreal, the Syndra, QE, and the late game is normally massive. You can also kind of do the same thing with the Jace EQ. I think the big difference is what the world, like what Kog'Maw is supposed to be and what Ezreal is supposed to be nowadays. The fact that they can both be semi-tanky. I don't think you can one-shot the Cog with the Syndra R anymore, especially when he's paired with a Lulu.
Yeah, he's got so many things. He's got the shield bow. He'll get a Wit's End in there. You got the Lulu on top with Guardian. You got, and then you have to get 2 Kog'Maw past a Volibear and a Lee Sin, like.
And literal Randuin's Omen on him too.
Well, he didn't build that this game. I think he was probably gonna forego the Randuins because they're against Ezreal. They don't have any ranged auto attacking. So it would only be for like Xin Zhao. So there's really no reason to go for Randuins over a GA this game.
I think just for the health.
It's like 250. Yeah. It's 250
there are better
health.
options, my man.
That's true. You're right.
If someone on my team told me they just built a Randuins just for health, I would report them for fucking griefing.
If you ever play against Ashe, build a Randuins.
That's different. That's not what we're talking about.
I know, but it's just her volley, not her volley, her Q on. That each one of those gets reduced every instance. It's hilarious. All right, you guys want to talk about this game a little bit more? Matt, do you want to rip off that Band-Aid?
I don't care. We can talk about it if you want.
Right. What I'll say is Huni really got perks. Like he was just on him every
No. Let's not paint this picture wrong. Perks gave himself up.
Oh yeah, I did that last TP in there while TSM was around Baron. Complete int. It was hands down there. But Huni was very much like, oh, hey, that Syndra's an integral part of your team comp. I'm gonna insect him every single time. In the mid game, he just made sure that man did not have a game, and that was a big part of the composition that they were missing.
That teleport, I posted a screenshot of it, and I captioned it with, y'all want to see a blind man deliver $11 million to a mad scientist? Because Victor just nukes her ass right after that.
Yep. It was very bad.
He did this like 2 or 3 times, where he just shows up and gets Lee Sin kicked back into TSM. Oh.
I'm not really sure if there's anything that C9 can really do about that.
Not teleport to bad spots.
Yeah, the teleportation's bad, but I don't think you'd have a Jace, Ezreal. Who was their support?
Nautilus. I was staring at that champion. I could not come up with his name.
Nautilus. All of the earnest would be on Nautilus standing next to Syndra and stopping that insect from happening.
He can't unless you CC him out of it, which is now blowing all your shit to CC Lee Sin.
Yeah. I think it's more important. I think you need it, and especially with how long range your composition is, it's not the worst thing.
I just feel like there was no saving this. Like, C9 just kept making worse and worse decisions basically all game. They kept getting themselves picked out. They weren't really dealing any damage because they would just lose a man and then have to leave.
Yeah.
And then and now you have to fight into Kog'Maw when you're not that tanky, which sort of devalues Kog'Maw a little bit, but it also kind of doesn't matter because he still blows you the fuck up regardless of how much bonus HP you have.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're Ezreal, who builds a Divine Sunderer and has a little more HP stacked onto him, that's actually still pretty good. And he doesn't need any armor shred this game either because nobody built any armor. There's no armor. Yeah. There's no resistances on anyone on this team. There is like one chain vest on Blabber, and then Vulcan has an Abyssal Mask. Those are the extent of the defensive items, really. It's just so ridiculous how awfully C9, like, they played this draft, they played like the early game, they played like there was just nothing really going for them. I guess they had they had a dive top lane at 3 minutes, I think, where they killed Huni, but it took them forever to pull it off. They sapped like a wave and a half of XP off of Fudge, and then they didn't really give him that much farm into the turret, and then they just it basically went neutral because of all the resources that Blabber took from Fudge. It just seems like a lack of decisive discipline from them in a lot of their decision making in every part of the game. And I don't know Sven. I don't think Sven fixes that. I don't think Sven coming back fixes that.
No, I think Sven is just more stable than King, and probably has a better ceiling.
I think that's all you can get out of him. You can get a slightly better player, but unless he's a big influence on the team's communication and shot calling, which it seemed to be that was the negative aspect that they were removing him for, possibly. Where are you supposed to succeed here? You lost to EG and Immortals too. Like, I don't understand what you're doing. Why are we picking fucking Redacted for Perks? Why is Perks playing Akali into Rise? That's a known bad matchup for Akali.
Yeah, I still have hope for them. It's just it's reserved. We'll find out more next week.
All right. Let's go talk about TSM. They went 3-0 this weekend. I knew it all along. I always had faith that TSM was going to go 3-0. Never doubted them. Now, I gotta say, Spica and Huni have been looking fucking bonkers. Have you watched these guys play this game? It's been crazy.
Good.
People are starting to talk about MVP, and I think Spica is kind of getting up there. I don't know who else you're gonna include in this. Maybe Core JJ, maybe Abadage, but like, come on, someone's got to be giving Spica something after this weekend. Like, oh my god. Spica and Huni have been tearing things up for TSM. I haven't even noticed that Power of Evil's in the game because Spica and Huni have been just demolishing people without even like blinking. It's so much like straight raw, like unrelenting force getting put out by these two players, and it's just so fun to watch. Watching him play Lee Sin, Watching him play Jace, oh my god, the fucking IMT win made me want to pull my goddamn teeth out.
Mm-hmm.
I've been loving it.
Yeah, I think Hooney's actually like been a big performer for TSM this past weekend. I don't think we can underplay how well he's been doing.
He's been more consistent. Like that's what he's been known. That's what he's known for, is being really inconsistent, really hit or miss most of the time. And since he's joined TSM this year, he's looked a lot more consistent. He hasn't been having those like Hooney moments where he just dies a lot or like really misses a play or something. It's just been straight out power and aggression coming from him. Even when he's getting camped and forced to play weak side, he goes up farm. Like I don't know how he does it. He just pulls a farm lead out of thin air after he's been killed 3 times under his turret. It's insane watching this man play top lane.
I don't know. It's good that this is kind of happening on TSM, because there's been splits on splits on splits on splits where all the players have been like, yeah, the environment there is just terrible. And I think this is probably like...
Wait. What do you mean just terrible?
As in, like, since like when Doublelift was on TSM with Svenskeren, it would be Svenskeren getting like the brunt of like community backlash.
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 I'm
gonna say
feedback.
Anyhow, but where it's been like splits of that have been going on, and TSM never really found a way around it, and this seems to be the second split that they've actually gotten it.
I mean, well, I wouldn't exactly say that it's on TSM to get around the community picking a player to antagonize with their half-assed criticisms of their gameplay.
I mean, yes, but for such a long time, there was a ton of criticism levied at TSM for using their jungler as kind of a ward bot. And because actually come in and change that perspective, you don't really hear that much about it because he's such a good jungler now.
Wait, that happened with Svenskeren though. Svenskeren was the Chad jungler who's destroying people. I don't pick up this word bot read that you're getting.
It's been ages that people have said that comment.
Right, but there's a meme that is Bjergsen the 4 wards, right? But that's the meme. It's Bjergsen in 4 wards. It's that everybody's playing to let Bjergsen carry the game. I never thought it was like... The thing about the junglers was always that they would swap them out all the time, or that they apparently have more junglers than any other roster in the league, which I'm very, very certain is not true. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, or it doesn't track with me that people were saying that. I don't know. I never came across them calling the jungler explicitly like a ward bot. But here's the other thing, is that junglers were literally second supports for like the first 4 years of League of Legends.
Yeah, T1 showed that a lot, but we're getting a little bit sidetracked. My point was kind of that the general pressure that TSM would be exuded on TSM players,
right? Well,
was immense.
Okay. That's a very different thing, and that is very true. Is that players always say playing on TSM is very hard because there's a lot of expectation to win by the management, the players, and the community. So basically, from all fronts, it doesn't necessarily feel like you're trying to improve. It feels like you're trying to get out here and get W's over and over again, because that's like that's partially the TSM branding. Look, I don't want to say this is like TSM isn't a good team, because they've won the most fucking championships and they probably have the most wins in all of LCS. But like, it's really hard to say that TSM is an org all about winning when they have a lot of mediocre performances from time to time, but they've never been last place. I don't know if they've ever not made playoffs. I don't think that's ever happened. Cloud9.
Yeah, but I think that right now it feels like a turning point for the environment around TSM, for like how their players are being treated, how they necessarily feel. Like, I don't think Hooney would have performed as good as he was if he didn't feel like he was being supported by the actual his coaching staff, organization, the players around him.
So Huni himself has spoken to how he what makes him perform better, and it's when he plays with good players that he seems to perform better. So he plays to his teammates' skill level. So I think that's probably what's really doing it. When you surround him with good players like Sword Art, PoE, Spica, I think that's what's really making him play better. Is that when you put next to him a really good talent that he knows is good and he feels like is worthy of his respect and competitiveness, he'll definitely improve there. Now,
yeah,
I definitely want to talk about the goddamn Immortals game. For the fucking ending. Jesus Christ, that ending. The production staff was making me lose my mind. But for 2, where people were saying that Sword Art and Lost looked like a giant liability this game, and they don't understand what IMT's team comp does to TSM's team comp, and why Sword Art and Lost died a collective 7 times, which is, I think, a grand total of 3 pickoffs of them 2 specifically. Like, what happened a lot was they would pick both of them and then grab an objective. So, to me, it looked like you've got Volibear with a Yuumi on top, a Ziggs and an Ezreal for long range damage, and then you've got Gwen over here just kind of hanging out and doing shit. I don't know what people thought that Tom Kench and Senna are supposed to do against that, because there's just too many options and not enough counter from TSM. So what TSM ended up doing, and which they did very well, was they would trade better every time that they would lose their bot lane, or their bot lane would be forced off something because they don't have enough agency. So they were trading like Dragon for 2 turrets, or they trade Herald for a turret, or a Dragon for just 1 turret. They tried to keep it even or better, and they ended up basically demolishing their base by simply trading objectives. And then it came down to it where they traded Baron and 4 turrets for 2 turrets, an inhibitor, and a Nexus. So, I think that's how TSM really won this game, is off of trading objectives, which it was the much more intelligent play than hope Ziggs can nuke their base before Jace can.
Yeah, but the fact that this game went on for so long is not a good sign either. You can't be like, oh, okay, well, they took
it only
down
lasted that
3
long because they
inhibitors.
stole the Baron.
Yeah, the Ziggs bomb stole the Baron.
It would have ended, easily. It probably would have lasted longer, actually. The game would have taken longer if they got that Baron.
If TSM got that Baron?
Because they would have had to slow push the base.
It would have taken as long as that. It would have probably taken an extra.
Well, Baron dies at 38:51, and the game ends at 41:40. I think it probably would have ended at 42:43, because you have to siege with Baron, and that would have taken time. It was absolute luck that they got that Baron. Absolute fucking luck, because he did it blind, and he killed it at over 1,000 HP. So
I still think with the 38-minute game, I think that's still a little bit long.
No. What? I don't.
Because I think that, with how much of a lead Huni had and how much pressure he was exerting on the map from his lead, they should have been able to close that out sooner.
I don't think Huni had that big of a lead.
Am I misremembering that? Because I remember Huni was tearing apart turrets.
Right. Yeah, but that's what they were doing. They were trading with Jace. They're using Jace to make trades, and then because Jace trades like a motherfucker. And I don't know why Revenge isn't trying to duel Jace. I hate this matchup for Gwen. Gwen is awful into Jace. I feel like I just get my ass reamed every time I play it. But late game, she should be able to pop him as Gwen. I'm losing on Gwen.
Yeah.
So late game, Gwen should be able to duel. Gwen should be able to take this fight without even trying. It should be very possible. I just don't. understand why IMT were letting all these trades go through for free when they can poke with Ziggs Ezreal. I guess it's because they don't have a second frontliner, and and Volibear can't protect 2 carries. And using Yuumi ult to kite is bad.
Mm-hmm. I would say what probably kept them in this game for that long was the Yuumi for IMT. The fact that you can heal so much in the late game, that's probably more so what kept them there for so long. But I still think TSM should probably close out this game sooner.
I kind of agree, but I don't know. I don't think IMT is that bad of a team. I think they're definitely a middle pack team, maybe somewhere around 5th place. I think is where they're gunning for. Like they've had some really good showings. They had a 3-0 weekend, and they haven't looked bad.
Yeah,
I'm trying to pull up their matches.
What's very curious about them is that they'll have like a weak early game, and you'll be like, oh, well, that's not good. And then the mid game, they'll turn it on somehow. Like they know what they want to do or how to do their composition well, and they can really bring this out, and they can really drag these games into these really long games, which is good for IMT. But like I said, I would have wanted TSM to close this out sooner.
But what? Immortals beat Cloud9 in a 38-minute game. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, TSM's comp isn't really a strong closeout comp. It's a skirmishy it's a skirmishing comp that trades. I don't think it's a stellar comp. I don't think TSM's comp's all that great because what you're basically doing is you're putting Jace in a side lane with Spica roaming around or with Spica supporting the bot lane, and then LeBlanc's looking for picks. And that's a really weird comp to play, especially when you're trying to pick off a Gwen, a Ziggs, or an Ezreal with a Yuumi on top of them. Like, where are your options here? It's so hard to get picks on these champs.
Yeah, no, this is a comp that you really want this game to be over very soon. Because the LeBlanc doesn't do well in team fights. The Jace doesn't do well in team fights. The Xin Zhao doesn't do well in team fights. It's
Jace does fine in team fights. What? You're supposed to land poke, but like I think this goes better if like you have Sivir. Honestly, I think if you swap out Senna with Sivir, and you just have Sivir playing catch while everyone else goes and plays the game, it's so much easier to just outlast them, because that's part of the problem why they couldn't end, is because they have to get through Ziggs and Ezreal clear. Like the wave clear is just stopping them from ending the game a lot.
You're right. That is a lot of wave clear actually with the Ziggs.
Yeah, that's what people are afraid of, is the Ziggs meta coming back, where it's all about late game wave clear and you're just kind of trying to hold out.
And then he just annihilates a turret. Yep. Okay, well, I think that's about enough about that game.
Yeah. I don't think there's much more about TSM. We already talked about their Dignitas game and the Cloud9 game. Okay. That's not the topics. All right. Let's go talk about the LCS team owners has voted to make the academy teams non-mandatory. This was reported from Travis Gafford.
I didn't know that.
This is reported from Travis Gafford, and it was disputed by the commissioner, Greeley, that the owners had held a vote on whether or not their position was that academy teams were non-mandatory. I think so. It spun up this whole thing on Twitter about how Travis was being sensationalist and like a bad journalist for the way he titled this and phrased this. But what I think the real story behind it is that Travis has confirmed that a majority of the orgs think that academy teams should be non-mandatory. And whether or not they held a strictly formal vote on that subject is that wasn't really what he was saying, even though he kind of said that. But like at the same time, he also said they didn't have any power to do so, which people were criticizing him for saying they voted when they had no power to do so, which he illustrated in the video that they had no power to do so. And it seems to be that this is the next import rule thing, and that this is actually kind of impacting with the import rule. The off season's looking like it's gonna be crazy. Off season's gonna be real fucking crazy. So a lot of the criticisms people have been levying at the academy teams at the moment has been the contract jail that has kind of sprung up around them. I know it's part of why.
Can you elaborate on that? Because I actually have no idea what that.
It's part of why Zeyzal didn't go to an academy team, went to an amateur team.
Stuff. Okay,
yeah. So everyone, like, all these players are on contracts, and then sometimes they'll have enormous buyouts because I don't fucking know why they put enormous buyouts on these players who all go in and play really mediocre. I don't get it.
They could potentially be the next double F.
Sure. I bet you that they'll be the next double lift, and you don't have to get through Sven and FBI first. Or Lost. Like, there's so many other, like, good players in the LCS right now that I'm just like, are there actually more good players right now? Like, are you telling me that this pool is that deep? I don't think this pool is that deep that you can charge like $750,000 for this challenger player you picked up 6 months ago. I don't think that's possible. I don't think you have trained them good enough to be worth that money to you. Like, it seems to be like these ridiculous multi-million-dollar asking prices for rookie players. And I'm like, this isn't the NBA where $10 million as a starting salary for a first round draft pick is like a thing. I don't even know what the fucking starting salary for first round draft picks are. Don't they have like a hard and fast rule about first year pay in the NBA?
It's a Davidson question.
I don't know. But like, we don't have shitloads of money. Why, like, the players at a minimum make $75K a year, like, and we're gonna be charging like 800% of their salary or 1,000% of their salary to fucking move them.
In 2020 to 2021, Zion Williamson earned a base salary of $10,245,480.
Nailed it.
While carrying a cap hit of basically the same. Yeah. Well, they also paid him what was basically like rookie cap, right? And it's a 3-year contract, right? So
I think a lot of these academy players are on 2 years.
Over 3 years.
A lot of the academy players, I think, are probably on 2-year contracts.
Yeah.
So I can agree that.
To be clear, that is a massive anomaly because Zion Williamson is one of the best, like, was confused one of the best. No, a very good prospect. A lot of rookies only make, well, I say only, a lot of rookies only make between 1 to 4K with only a very, very small, I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
1 to 4K?
Like, million, sorry, 1 to 4 million with only a handful of every season going into their yearly contract being above 5.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I think that is the best result for academy, is that while it's still mandatory, the teams don't need to, like, because right now they basically treat them as a fully fledged LCS team, short of the salaries, I think, and probably maybe not as deep a coaching staff, where they've got facilities and all this other stuff, and they have to keep doing all that. And I think a lot of them want to be like doing remote stuff with their academy players, so they don't have to make sure that they're all housed in LA, because LA is fucking expensive to live in, and they have access to these facilities. Like, it's less of a thing when they can easily go boot camp at the facilities if they need to. I don't fully resonate with that, but I can definitely understand the cost saving measure, given last year's economic de-evolution. And like how restricted a lot of the budgets are on these teams right now. But even still, I feel like it'll make academy players worse. They're not used to the practice like the LCS teams has. You won't be able to swap them in as quickly as possible because they're not on hand. Like Dardoch plays this weekend if your fucking jungler's in Kansas. Like nothing you can do about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna overnight the jungler here and have him play the next day. Like that sounds like a real bad time.
Yeah,
not that it wasn't a real bad time.
Sounds like pretty ass, to be honest, to do that.
It's probably going to vary team to team. I think that's more so what it's about. They probably want a bit more freedom with what they can do with their academy roster, even though I think there should still be like academy teams. Like I still think there should be an official league sponsored by the LCS. But if it's like, okay, some teams want to have their players play from home because it's cheaper than actually having them nearby, fine. Some teams would probably actually bring their amateur team over to just because they want their amateur team here nearby.
I would get behind the teams more on this if they were saying they wanted the academy system to be held in Chicago. Because Chicago is closer to the server and lower ping. Because I keep hearing all these pros talk about how it's the fucking ping is the problem, and I'm like, all right, cool. Why aren't you boot camping in Chicago in the off season?
Because they have the tournament realm.
Does that matter though? The tournament realm's still going to be based on the servers that aren't.
Tournament realm's in LA.
Oh, never mind.
Tournament realm's at the LCS studio, as far as I know.
My own.
So I'm just kind of.
What if they had the LCS in LA, but they had the tournament realm servers not in LA? That'd be so funny. I mean, that's what they can do. If they want to equalize it, they just also move the tournament realm servers to Chicago, and then the teams have the same ping that they practice on.
Hey guys, we're going back to season 2. The LCS tournament realm is in Korea.
I don't know. I feel like for the teams, this is just strictly cost saving endeavor. And while I can't fault them for that too much, it doesn't seem like it's in the best interest of developing talent. Also, I completely disagree with anybody who says that the team owners probably don't majoritively hold this opinion, or that there was not an explicit vote, so therefore Travis Gafford is a bad journalist for saying they held a vote on this. Like, they probably held an impromptu as like, all right, are we in agreement that we need to make academy non-mandatory? And then 2 people were like, I like it being mandatory. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, even then, they were like, are you sure? And they were like, maybe not.
I'd still do it even if it wasn't, because I don't know why you wouldn't do it, but I like other people having to spend the same amount of money as me. I'm gonna be shocked if it's like TSM and Cloud9 and TL coming out, because those 3 specifically were really unhappy with how little other teams were spending on talent development and how much they were. They felt like they were kind of carrying talent development in the region. I think 100 Thieves was in that mix too. Like those 4 teams, I'm surprised would say they don't want this to be mandatory, but that's why I think they would still hold these teams, but they would treat them like an amateur team, which sort of seems to defeat the purpose of an academy team to me, but besides the point.
Okay, well, I don't think I have anything more to say on the topic.
Let's move on to talk about our picks for next week. Let's see what crazy ass shit Haymant's pulled out.
Let's see it, buddy.
Haymant's got IMT beating CLG and FlyQuest beating TSM. Right out the gate, Haymont. Right out the gate.
Strong opener.
Okay, the reason why I went with FlyQuest beating TSM. I glanced over to my good buddy Dion, and he gave me the faith. Now, the reasons why FlyQuest is going to lose to TSM. Licorice, while looking much better on...
Hang on. Do you want me to hand you the argument on a silver platter?
No, let me do it.
All
it's
right, go
my
ahead.
team. I watched them play against TL last week, and it hurt. It hurt. I turned it off after 5 minutes.
Did you enjoy the perfect game?
No. Anyhow, Licorice looks a lot better on Lee Sin, but they still can't figure out what to do about it. They did a double marksman comp on Sunday, which I was not happy about, even though it did look like Jose Dioto knew how to navigate it until he got blown up. Palafox is good. Johnson has been shaky ever since joining FlyQuest. It doesn't look like there's any hope. The ship has sailed. The only way that this goes bad is if all of a sudden Hooney decides to coin flip again. That.
Wait. Let's stop putting errors out there. Top lane is always a coin flip on whether or not your jungler is useful. Just saying.
Licorice is a good top laner. That's all we have going now.
So, Haymant, I'm going to give you the correct argument. TSM is 0-3 against FlyQuest. TSM have lost more games to FlyQuest than to Cloud9 and Team Liquid and IMT and Golden Guardians and EG. Oh, wait. If you exclude Dignitas, TSM has lost more games to every other team put together. Or the same amount of games every other team put together. They have 5 losses from Dignitas and FlyQuest.
I'm not gonna bite.
You're not gonna bite at the FlyQuest is 3-0 over TSM, so I think they're gonna do it a 4th time, really?
No, it's unfortunate. Even though if you also look at the rest of my picks, I do have FlyQuest going 3-0. In vain hope.
So you're delusional. This is not that. Okay.
We already knew that.
The TSM one is very delusional. The other 2 are not as delusional.
Yes, there is a chance that they beat Dignitas because they're bringing in Acadian, and there might be a slight top jungle gap. Them against Golden Guardians. Who knows? Who knows? That's it. We'll find out. Okay, what was the other spicy one?
Nothing too spicy.
IMT over CLG. Oh, okay.
I wouldn't call that spicy.
No, I just think that IMT have done very well at dragging teams into this very weird mid-late game where it turns into like a 50-50 coin flip. I think IMT can really be the ones who's like, even despite having not as good in the early games, they can really confuse CLG or somehow check them on their mistakes or errors that they make in the mid game.
Yeah, but you think they're gonna do that against? I don't. It's not that crazy, but I just don't feel like CLG is the team you say they're gonna 50-50 flip for. I think CLG is probably just gonna. I hope CLG continues with their strategy, picks to see target, kill target, and just keeps killing them over and over again every time they try to do anything. It's a very concrete strategy that I don't think teams are going to be able to prepare for in a week. I don't think you're going to be able to ban it out. I don't think you're going to be able to come up with a counter comp that you're going to be able to bait them into. I just think IMT, if they do win, it'll probably through a complete snowball. I think this is going to be a very one-sided matchup either direction.
Either way, the drafts are going to be interesting. That's what I want to see too.
Oh,
the fact that IMT's already picked out Yuumi as well as Ziggs, given that Ziggs was coming into the meta, like, yeah, all right, that's fine. And then CLG just pulling out Vi out of nowhere. That's going to be an exciting part of the game.
Let's talk about the 2 matchups I picked out this week. You got 100 Thieves versus Golden Guardians. 100 Thieves versus CLG coming up first. Now, I picked this one out because 100 Thieves are looking like they're competing for top 2, definitely top 4, and CLG just came off of their 3-0 week. Now, this is Friday's game, last game of the day, according to the schedule I copied. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to this match. Or wait,
what you said 100 Thieves versus CLG?
That happened last week. Hang on, I know I did something wrong.
Yeah, I don't know what you're. I kind of wanted to see how long you would go, Haymont.
I think it was supposed to be 100 Thieves versus Cloud9.
That would make sense. 100 Thieves versus Cloud9 does sound like
a
prospective matchup.
There it is. All right, let me restart that primer. So we got 100 Thieves who's looking like they're competing for for first place with TSM. And they're definitely a concrete top 4. But we have Cloud9 who just went 0-3, and it looks like they're barely hanging on to their top 4 position right now, and they're teetering on the edge of maybe falling out of this top 4 and really getting pushed out of the top 2. And I think if they lose this matchup, they will probably not finish top 2 this split. So, what do you guys think about this matchup? How do 100 Thieves and C9 shape up against each other?
I'm just excited to see what Sven can do. See if that fixes some of our problems.
You excited to watch him pick Ezreal and then go die in front of Baron?
Usually.
I feel that pain. That pain hurts. Hurts a lot.
You learn to love it. Learn to live with it, you know?
Why didn't we just keep Turtle?
Because you wanted that EU bot lane or whatever?
I didn't want the EU bot lane! We had doubled before that!
Oh, you're right. Oh yeah, you got rid of another good AD carry.
I don't understand this team!
It's okay. We all have our flaws.
They figured Bjergsen's figured it out. It's alright.
Wait, is Lost Aussie? I might be crazy.
Lost is Aussie. Oceania, yeah. Okay. I want 100 Thieves to roll him. I love seeing Someday have a good time.
Well, that's what happened last time. It was not that close.
I want to see it. That was because Perks was inting on Renekton. I want to see a stellar early game where
you can't just pass everything off onto Perks was inting on Renekton when they keep picking it.
You can't tell me that wasn't troll, that Perks flashed into a bush with no vision to W a Karma, and then woo, found out the enemy jungler was actually over there.
That was strange gameplay.
Oh man, Perks has been. Oh, I don't think Perks has anything to do with them winning unless he gets straight inted. I think Perks is gonna get absolutely rolled by Abadage. I think if they leave Karma up, if they leave Akali up, if they leave I don't what has Abadage played?
Abadage played Akali, Karma, and he also played Orianna a game. I don't remember what he played last week.
He played a game of Lee Sin.
Did he?
I don't know that. Yeah, he has a game of Lee Sin and a game of Rise.
Rise makes sense, but Lee Sin?
He played Lee Sin against Team Liquid and they won that game.
He's got a... Okay, the man's a monster. All right.
The man's a monster. I think... I feel like they got options here. I think 100 Thieves has a lot more options than C9 does. And I feel like I think they can play to top. I think they can play to mid. I think they can play to bot. I don't think C9 has all those options. And I think the flexibility of 100 Thieves is going to give them a lot more power in champ select and give them a lot more convincing plays to make. Like it's such a looking at how Cloud9 has been able to perform, even putting Sven back in, I just feel like it's such a mismatch.
Okay. Is there any other games that you want to talk about?
Yeah. I had TSM versus Team Liquid. Two other top 4 teams competing for those top spots. Team Liquid.
You don't want to talk about 100 Thieves CLG again?
Yeah, 100%. I enjoyed that game. That was a fun game to watch. So Team Liquid, they're not looking quite as stellar as TSM, and they're not looking quite as shaky as Cloud9. I feel like they're somewhere around that 100 Thieves level, but I think that Abadage compared to Jensen is kind of like night and day for me.
Yeah. I don't know. You don't really hear too much about Jensen. You don't really see him popping off as much as you like to. A lot of
they made a whole meme about him having cologne one time. You hear a lot about Jensen.
I think they sold that.
Jensen. Did they
Doesn't
sell
mean
that?
It's not a meme.
I think somebody they might have been an Etsy shop from a fan who made Bodied by Jensen.
Oh man. Anyhow, he just kind of gets overshadowed by Core JJ because Core JJ, he's a monster. He pulled out the Nautilus, was it last week or the week prior? Oh, yeah, it was last week. Yeah. He pulled out the Nautilus last week, and you literally saw teams copying his plays the day afterwards on Nautilus as well.
That makes me feel like he didn't make that stellar of a play if you can copy it in a day.
Yo, the blind Nautilus hook into a bush with that X flash though, it was heat.
Do you think that
And
you can copy blind hooks? Because it's just something that presents itself to you and you have the wherewithal to do. Like, that's not a copy thing.
No, he was just that far ahead and he did it. And then I think other people went like, oh, yeah, you can do this on Nautilus too. Let me try it. I'm ahead as well. Anyhow.
Wait, I can hex flash a wall and then just throw a hook out and hope it lands on somebody? Who the fuck am I, Blitzcrank?
Core JJ also plays that champion.
Everybody plays that shit. Blitzcrank isn't hard!
Core JJ plays that champion in LCS.
Alright. I feel like Team Liquid's been struggling without Alfari. Alfari is not coming in until after this weekend. If we're following the reports, who knows? The plan might change, but according to current reports, Alfari is not coming back until the 3rd of July, or sorry, the 2nd of July. So I feel like Jenkins has been good, but is he better than Someday? Wait, no.
Is he better than Hooney?
Hooney.
Holo.
Is he better than Hooney? Is he better than Power of Evil?
Or
is Jensen better than Power of Evil? I feel like this is a complete
Jensen's
mismatch.
better than Power of Evil.
I feel like TSM has them beat lane for lane. I think I've been talking about 100 Thieves this entire time.
I think Jensen's got a timer. There's a time before Power of Evil really comes online, unless Spica does some crazy pathing.
Look, if TSM lock in Lucian mid, just take it. I don't want to watch. I'm gonna turn it off.
It's over. You're right. As if he locks in Lucian, it's just done. I think they were very well aware that if they lock in Lucian, it's done.
I just look forward to the tactical ends. Tactical has not looked great this split. Tactical has looked... Both Tactical and Jensen have both looked really shaky at a lot of times. Like, Tactical is getting picked off. Jensen just can't do anything on the champs they're giving him. Like, they'll pick fucking Viego for him, and then where's he go? What's he doing? Huh?
Jensen's good. I think Spica has a better smite than Santorin. That's just there. It's been seen multiple times.
I guess. I don't think most junglers would judge people on their ability to smite steal, but
no. But I think specifically,
smite stealing is like a garnish. It's like an extra little bit on top that's nice.
99% of the time you got a smite steal is because somebody smited super early.
Yeah, I don't think Santorin's that good at actually doing it. Unfortunately, he's great at pathing. He's great. I think
you're putting a lot of pressure on someone to smite steal objectives, Haymant.
What?
Like, you should never be like, I think they're gonna win because this player has better smite steal. Like, that's not a good thing that you have to steal objectives with your smite. No, it means you're behind.
No, it means that you're behind. But I also think Spica's taken like way too many objectives from Santorin that I feel like Santorin should have gotten.
I don't know if it's specifically Santorin, but I feel like Spica gets away with a lot of shit. He gets away with some dumb shit a lot, and I don't understand why teams keep giving it to him like that.
I know, but specifically, like, I remember watching like a decent amount of times that his smites have been taken from Santorin. Like, easy objectives have been taken from Santorin. It's just, I don't know, bud.
I feel like Team Liquid will put Santorin on Volibear, and then they do nothing all game. Because Volibear has very poor solo objective control. Mm-hmm. So it seems like Team Liquid keeps setting themselves up for failure. Over and over again with giving their jungler really weak picks.
Hey, I honestly think Santorin probably is okay with the Volibear.
He's also played the Rumble every time they give it to him.
He has. He also plays the Rumble, which I think they've had a lot more success with the Rumble. Thankfully.
He's played it twice this split, and he lost both of those games.
As the Rumble?
Yeah. No, sorry, not Rumble. Volibear. The Rumble he has. Where's the split start? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games on it, and he's lost twice.
That's not bad. I'll take 2/3 of 66% wins. That's a lot better than 100% losses.
All he's played is
yeah,
Volibear.
Obviously it's better than 100% losses, but that should be your baseline, bro.
All he's played is Volibear, Rumble, and Xin Zhao. This man has played nothing but these 3 champions. Yikes. Alright. Yeah, I'm down on TL in this matchup. I think TSM is looking a lot stronger, and unless TL put Alfari in and make everything work. Same with Cloud9. Unless they put Sven in and make everything work. Fuck. The fucking Cloud9 needs to figure out how the fuck to win League of Legends before I have any confidence in them winning anymore.
Same problem with TL, except they look more stable.
Yeah, I think it's because their top laner isn't a liability. Alright. I'm out of topics, Matt.
You want to take us on home?
Yeah, I think that'll do it for us this week on the Legendary League of Legends podcast. You can catch us live Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern when we're actually live on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can catch the VODs on my YouTube channel, Legendary Podcast. You can catch the audio podcast version wherever you get your podcasts. And have a nice day.